Hey guys, what's up? Game Boy here. Welcome back to another video. I hope you're having a great week. This first story comes from Asphalt 9 Legends. Nothing really big happened with it, but it is now confirmed to be coming to Xbox, and there is just no confirmed release date as of right now. This next story comes from Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We have a leak over on 4chan that is leaking some DLC. It says name is being finalized. Last I heard, will be named Ragnarok. Meteors will play an important role in both Eivör's and Odin's story, and in gameplay. Will feature Iceland and the other Norse realms of Vanaheim, Alfheim, Svartalfheim, Nidavellir, Niflheim, and Helheim. Probably butchered those names. Focus on Odin's journeys across the 9 realms after the death of Baldur, in development by a team at Sophia and a few other support studios. Will be the biggest DLC for AC yet, and is not standalone, but will not be a part of Season Pass, currently looking to cost $40. Will be announced at Ubisoft Forward on June 12th, was initially going to launch this winter, but is likely being pushed back to early 2022 due to delays internally on Wrath of Druids and Siege of Paris. Final release date will be solidified by May 10th and is based on potential changes in release dates for other titles. Muspelheim artwork is from pre-release when several other realms were cut and are being brought back for the DLC. Sophia is also still leading a much bigger project for cross-gen release in late 2022, backed up by Montpellier and Energy among other support studios. It was originally pitched as a unique King Richard game, but was morphed into a knight-based game during the 100 Years' War. This next story comes from Battletoads, so the 3 main characters, Zitz, Pimple, and Rash, are all getting their own figurines, along with a couple of other characters from the series. So Rare tweeted out this and said, Seen Toys DNA's fancy Battletoad figures? The Toads have in-scale interchangeable attachments. General Slaughter is 15 inches tall, and the figures have more articulation points combined than there were Pokemon in 1998. Interested? Pre-order them here. And if you want to pre-order that, I will give you a link down in the description. And this next story comes from the Castlevania series. So we've been having rumors for a while that we could get a new game, or we could get a reboot and it plays similar to Dark Souls, stuff like that. Well, we have a bit of proof that we could get a new game. So in the last video, I said while editing that Konami filed a trademark for Metal Gear Rising and Castlevania. In that part, I talked about Metal Gear Rising, but this time we're going to talk about Castlevania. This kind of ties in with what a credible leaker said over on Reset Era. So a user named Authentic M asked a credible leaker this, and they said, so what's the latest info on Konami's IP being used by Sony? I recall that an insider said that Sony was working on a new Silent Hill game as well as a remake of Metal Gear Solid 1. Is that all we know, or is there more? For instance, do we have info on Metal Gear Solid remakes / games outside of Metal Gear Solid 1? What about Castlevania? Is Sony working on that as well? And then the credible leaker that I'm talking about, whose name is Uzu Pedro, said this and responded, the only exclusive one would be Metal Gear Solid by Bluepoint. Silent Hill was being made by unknown dev, and the only concrete, as in reported by more than one person, info is that Sony has marketing rights, likely timed exclusive as well. Castlevania is a question mark for now, but this initiative by Konami indicates that it is a matter of when rather than if. This next story comes from Dark Souls. This is pretty weird, but at the same time very awesome. A Twitch streamer with over 40,000 followers named Fryderykg beat this game, and the controller he used was not a controller, it was a piano. Not only did he beat it with a piano, but he also beat it not taking any damage, which is insane to me. So link is definitely down below to his Twitch account. Definitely follow him, he deserves it. This next story comes from Days Gone. So I've never played this game, but I had a PS4 and I saw it on the store and it looked really good. I've never played it, but I've heard a lot of great things about it. Well, there is now a petition made to get Sony to make a sequel to this game, and I will leave a link down below to that if you want to sign it. And so far, it only has 93,000 signatures. So if you want to boost that number, yeah, link is definitely down below. And this next story comes from Death Stranding. So a statue has now been made for the character Mads Mikkelsen. I really hope I said that right. And it's up for pre-order, and the link is down below for that. If you want to get it, you can get it, but it's $3,599. And this next story comes from the Digimon series. I haven't talked about this in a while, nothing really happened with it. But a drag queen actually dressed up as Togemon, who is a Digimon from the series. A Twitter user named The Prophetess tweeted out this and said, Denali Fox saying her look was inspired by Togemon. I'm living, oh my god, she just gets better with every moment. And she looks amazing, by the way. And this next story comes from Dragon Quest Builders 2. So this is now confirmed for the Xbox One, and the release date for that is May 4th. And this next story comes from F1 2021. This has a release date as well, and that comes out July 16th. Next story comes from Final Fantasy VI. A YouTuber with over 100 subscribers named Jean Ladeau made a short remake of this, and it really looks amazing. This next story comes from Forza Horizon 5. I know this isn't really announced yet. We might actually have an announcement date for this game. A user over on Reset Era named the Druvinator said, "That's so interesting, Klob. Didn't know that you were confident in us seeing Forza Horizon 5 at this E3. This gets me very excited." And Clobriel, who, for those who don't know, is Klob, it's just short for his name, he is a known credible leaker, and he actually quoted that and said this. He said, "I'm with Jeff Grubb on this one, and do expect Forza Horizon to show up this summer. I also might have an idea about the location, which is not Japan, but that info didn't went too well with Forza Horizon 4 last time. Let's leave that to the team." So yeah, we have it sort of pinned down here. We're going to get an announcement this summer. Not only that, but there are some leaks saying that this could potentially take place in Mexico. Now, I was supposed to talk about this, I think a month or two ago. I just couldn't get in touch with the person, so that's why I didn't talk about it. But there was a leak over on Reddit that showed some proof that this could take place in Japan, but now people are saying that this could take place in Mexico. A Twitter user named Idle Sloth said, "Looks like Forza Horizon 5 will be set in Mexico," and he shows screenshots of both Clobriel and Jeff Grubb. Clobriel said, "You see Mexico, I see sand beaches, rainforests, colorful cities, rovers, ancient ruins, deserts, waterfalls, caves, canyons, fish, vegetation, donkeys, coyotes, montane regions, culture, all in one single location." Jeff Grubb said, "I'm doing my Duolingo Spanish lessons as well, and in Spanish he says, car go vroom," which a lot of people think that Jeff Grubb really hinted at this taking place in Mexico. And this next story comes from Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. This has now shipped over 3.7 million copies. This is kind of believable. I mean, everybody got really excited when it was announced and then released, so I definitely saw this happening. And this next story comes from the Metal Gear Solid series. So we don't really have a hit against a trilogy remaster happening, but we do have a hit against Tom Olsen's credibility. So in my last video, I talked about tweets from Tom Olsen and how he was making some really weird tweets pointing towards us getting an announcement for this next week. And now we have a hit against his credibility. So on a new episode of their podcast, The Kojima Frequency, Nitroid and their co-hosts said this about the Twitter account. Roll it.
Funny if, like, a guy who just works there is tweeting about his job before everything crazy starts happening.
I thought it was that's so funny because, like, I remember when it went up, and the first thing I thought was, oh, this is Boundary Break. Like, that's, like, the first thing I thought. I was like, some dude's doing some, like, Boundary Break 2. That's all I thought. And then Metal Gear started talking.
And yeah, and hold on, I for first and foremost, I want this to be added to my contextual explanation, and that is, you know, Nitroid decided to take a fictional twist on this thought experiment by doing that concept, but with the Big Shell incident, the Big Shell event.
Good job, Nitroid.
This next story comes from Metro Exodus. So this was rated over in Taiwan for the Xbox Series X and S and PS5, hinting that we could potentially get an announcement for this pretty soon. And this next story comes from the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. So originally this was found in the Capcom hack, or leak, whatever you want to call it. Basically, for those who don't know, Capcom got hacked a while back, and their plans for the next 5 years were leaked, and we're starting to slowly see a couple of these get confirmed. And one of those things was a localization and remake of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Capcom tweeted out this and said, "Step into the courtroom and step back in time. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles features the adventures of Phoenix Wright's ancestor, Ryunosuke, as he takes on cases across Japan and England at the turn of the century. Isn't that right, Naruhodo?" It's coming to Switch, PS4, and Steam on July 27th, so look out for that. And this next story comes from The World Ends With You. So Neku and Shiki are both getting figurines, and if you want to get those, I will leave a link to them. And this final story comes from Wise9 or Yeez9 Monstrum Nox. So we now have an American release date and European release date for the Switch and PC. It comes out July 6th in America and July 9th in Europe, so look out for that. Anyways guys, that's it for this video. I'm sorry this video has been a bit short. Hopefully next video will be slightly longer. Anyways, if you like it, leave a thumbs up. If you're new, please subscribe. Definitely helps out a lot. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.